The news is about to drop, so we're okay to talk about this, but I did tear my MCL. And if you're going to hurt your knee, that is like the best possible case.
The Indiana Fever just suffered a devastating blow, and fans are demanding answers. Sophie Cunningham, one of the toughest, most fiery players in the league, is officially out for the rest of the season with a torn MCL. The shocking injury didn't just take her off the court, it sparked a firestorm of controversy that refuses to die down. Because here's the question everyone's asking. Was this just a freak accident, or was Sophie Cunningham actually targeted?
During Connecticut's game on Sunday, someone ran into my knee and it just snapped, and knee injuries are weird to me. I don't really like thinking about them, but I felt a pop right away.
The incident went down in a brutal fashion. Sophie collapsed on the hardwood, clutching her knee, while cameras caught Connecticut's Bria Hartley smiling just seconds later. That single frame spread like wildfire online, fueling accusations that Hartley's grin wasn't concern, it was satisfaction. And when the refs swallowed their whistles, refusing to call a flagrant, the outrage exploded.
We keep signing people, but we're running out of people to sign because our whole roster's injured.
I know.
The league, silent. Fans, furious. And Sophie herself, she's refusing to stay quiet, delivering fiery words aimed at both her haters and the WNBA itself. But what really happened under the basket that night? Why is Bria Hartley suddenly being branded as one of the dirtiest players in the WNBA? And how did the Fever, already down Caitlin Clark and now losing Sophie, respond with one of the most unbelievable comebacks in franchise history? Let's break it all down.
Right when it happened, I went into the locker room when the docs were checking it out, and then the team came in for halftime, they went out, and then I went back to shower. And I was like, you know what, maybe I'm not that hurt. And I tried kind of running a little bit, and I almost ate shit in the shower by myself because my knee was just blick.
The moment Sophie's season ended wasn't subtle. In the second quarter against the Connecticut Sun, Bria Hartley drives hard to the rim. She loses her balance mid-air and crashes directly into Sophie's right leg. Sophie hits the ground instantly, clutching her knee in agony. The arena goes silent. Her teammates sprint toward her, their faces telling the story before the trainers even arrive. This wasn't just another hard fall. Everyone knew it immediately.
If my foot would have been up a little bit, maybe my leg would have gave in a little bit, but my foot was locked on the ground, and when she fell, it was like a textbook MCL tear.
Replay after replay only made it worse. Hartley's body goes straight into Sophie's knee, bending it in a way knees are never supposed to bend. And as Sophie lay there on the court, trying to process the pain, cameras caught something no one expected. Hartley appearing to grin. That single smile became gasoline on the fire. Within minutes, fans flooded social media with outrage. Posts accused Hartley of being reckless, even malicious. Some flat out said she targeted Sophie. Others pointed to her reputation, claiming this wasn't an isolated incident. By halftime, the injury itself had almost been overshadowed by the narrative that Bria Hartley had crossed a line. It wasn't just a fall, it was the spark that ignited a controversy the WNBA couldn't afford to ignore. So what really happened? Was this an accident, or was Sophie Cunningham targeted?
They're if you would have gone a couple more inches to the left, you would have torn a whole bunch more shit. So I'm very thankful for where I'm at. So it's all good.
Fans who followed Hartley's career didn't need much convincing. To them, this fit a pattern. Earlier this season, she'd been ejected after a heated scuffle with Rebecca Allen and Ariel Atkins in a Sun-Sky matchup. A rare double ejection left people talking about her temper and reckless style. Then there was the clash with Angel Reese. Cameras clearly showed Hartley pulling Reese's hair during a scramble for the ball. That clip went viral instantly, fueling her reputation as a player who crosses the line. Stack those incidents together, and suddenly Sophie's fall didn't look so innocent. To fans, it looked like the latest entry in a growing list of dirty plays. The grin afterward? That was just the cherry on top. Of course, intent is impossible to prove, but intent almost didn't matter anymore. What mattered was the perception. And online, the perception was brutal. Fans were demanding suspensions, calling Hartley one of the dirtiest players in the league, and even questioning why she was still on a roster.
Whether or not Hartley meant to injure Sophie, her past made it easy for thousands to believe the worst, and that belief spread like wildfire. If there's one thing that made this situation 10 times worse, it was the league's reaction, or lack of one. On the court that night, officials made a choice that shocked everyone. No flagrant call, no upgrade, no review. The game went on as if Sophie hadn't just suffered a season-ending injury. Fans sat there stunned. Even casual viewers could see this was no routine foul, yet the referees swallowed the whistle. The WNBA office under Commissioner Kathy Engelbert didn't help matters. No suspension was announced. No public statement came out. Just silence. And that silence became deafening. Fans took it as proof that the league was protecting certain players while leaving others exposed.
This wasn't a new complaint. For years, WNBA officials have been accused of letting them play to the point of ignoring dangerous contact. Now, with Sophie's season over, critics had their perfect example. To many, the message was clear. The league talks about protecting its athletes, but when push comes to shove, it turns a blind eye. And that's when Sophie's family stepped in. While Sophie stayed quiet at first, her family didn't. And when they spoke, they didn't hold back. Her sister Lindsay posted directly at the WNBA, blasting the officials and the league for caring more about finding players than protecting them. She wrote that instead of punishing athletes for speaking up, maybe the league should hire referees capable of calling a consistent game. That post lit up online, echoing the exact frustration fans had already been voicing.
Their mom, Paula, added her own words, calling Bria Hartley reckless and hinting that this wasn't the first time she'd played out of control. That post was later deleted, but the damage was done. Fans saw raw emotion straight from Sophie's inner circle, and it only added more pressure on the WNBA to explain why nothing was being done. The message from Sophie's family was simple. This wasn't just an accident. This was a failure of officiating and leadership. And if the league wasn't going to protect players, then the players and their families were going to call them out themselves. But then Sophie herself finally spoke, and what she said shocked everyone.
Of just like games, you asking about Bria, but I'm officially 3 for 3 on being fined by the WNBA.
Holy shit! For this?
On her podcast, she calmly explained that she didn't believe Hartley had acted with intent. She said it was just a basketball play gone wrong, that she happened to be in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Sophie even stressed that she and Hartley were good friends and that she hoped fans would stop sending hate her way. It was a remarkably mature response from someone who had just lost an entire season. But Sophie didn't stop there. She shifted the conversation to accountability, pointing out that referees have been inconsistent all year. She reminded fans that she herself had already been fined multiple times for speaking up about officiating and player safety. Her point was sharp. The league is quick to punish words but slow to protect players' bodies. And then came the post. On social media, Sophie dropped a fiery line. Some of us were raised not to bite off more than we can chew, and some of us didn't F around and find out. It was short, direct, and had a completely different energy from her podcast. Suddenly, fans saw two sides of Sophie. The composed leader who refused to hold grudges, and the fiery competitor who refused to be silenced. Together, those sides reminded everyone why she's one of the most respected players in the game. When Sophie Cunningham finally addressed what happened, the entire tone of the conversation around her injury shifted. At first, fans only had replays, speculation, and the heated debate over Bria Hartley's reaction. But then Sophie herself broke her silence. Her words weren't bitter, and she didn't point fingers, but the emotion was undeniable. She admitted how devastating it felt to go down in the middle of a game where her team needed her most. What stood out was her gratitude. She thanked fans, teammates, and even opponents who reached out to her privately with messages of support. Still, there was something between the lines.
Okay, here's the thing. When you're an elite level player, you not being able to play is the hardest part. Mentally, physically, emotionally. So when people say stuff like that, I'm just like, just shut up.
She acknowledged that not everyone understood the moment, a phrase many believe was a subtle nod to Hartley's reaction on the bench. Sophie didn't name names, but fans connected the dots instantly. What made her response so powerful was the balance of grace and raw honesty. She didn't shy away from the pain, but she also didn't let the injury define her. Instead, she used the moment to inspire, reminding everyone that setbacks are part of the game, and how you respond matters more than anything else. And while her message calmed some fans, others only grew more fired up about the Hartley controversy. The aftermath of this incident went far beyond just one player's injury. Sophie's fall, Hartley's reaction, and the outrage that followed exposed a deeper problem for the WNBA. Fans began questioning the league's culture, accountability, and even the way injuries are handled in real time. Clips of the incident spread across social media, sparking debates on whether the WNBA protects its players enough or whether rivalries are allowed to cross the line. For the Fever, the emotional toll was massive. Losing Sophie meant not only losing a scoring threat, but also one of their most vocal leaders on the floor. Teammates spoke about the empty feeling of not having her energy in the huddle. But perhaps the most interesting fallout was the fan response. Many demanded consequences for Hartley, while others defended her, saying emotions run high in competitive sports. This clash of perspectives kept the story alive for days, with mainstream sports outlets picking it up and fueling the debate even further. In many ways, Sophie's injury became a turning point, forcing the league and its players to reflect on what kind of image the WNBA wants to project. Was this a one-off emotional slip, or does it reveal something deeper about the culture brewing inside the league? The answers to those questions could shape how fans view the game moving forward. But while Sophie fought her battle off the court, the Fever had their own fight to win on it. The game should have been over, down 21 points against a veteran Connecticut squad, missing Caitlin Clark, and now losing Sophie Cunningham to a torn MCL. Most teams would have folded, but the Fever did the exact opposite.
Led by Kelsey Mitchell, Indiana mounted the greatest comeback in franchise history. Mitchell erupted for 38 points, with 34 of them coming after halftime. She completely took over the second half and overtime, scoring Indiana's first 10 points in the extra period. She shot 11 of 22, nailed 5 threes, and went nearly perfect from the free throw line. But this wasn't a one-woman show. Aaliyah Boston battled inside all night, posting a double-double with 14 points and 13 rebounds. Nadasha Howard added 18 and 9, keeping the pressure on Connecticut's front court. And role players like Lexi Hull came up huge in crunch time, hitting a clutch 3 in overtime that gave Indiana the lead for good. When the final buzzer sounded, the scoreboard read Fever 99, Sun 93. Indiana had just pulled off the largest comeback in team history on the same night they lost Sophie for the year. It was defiance. Pure defiance.
Sophie's injury wasn't just a tough break. It became a symbol of everything fans believe is wrong with the WNBA's officiating and leadership. No flagrant, no suspension, no review. A player's season ended and the league acted like nothing happened. Fans, players, and even families are left demanding accountability. Meanwhile, Indiana proved that even when gutted by injuries, their spirit couldn't be broken. Stephanie White summed it up best after the comeback. She said her team had something inside them you just can't teach: toughness, grit, resilience. And that's exactly what they showed, both on the court and off it. For Sophie, the road back won't be easy. But her fiery words online proved one thing: she's not backing down. And if the league won't protect its players, then maybe it's time players like Sophie force the league to change.
Sophie Cunningham's torn MCL is more than just another injury report. It's a wake-up call. A reminder that without real accountability, the WNBA risks losing not just players, but trust from fans who expect better. And here's the bigger question: if the league doesn't step up now, who's going to be the next star sidelined? If you stand with Sophie, drop a comment. Sophie is on fire. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss the latest updates.